Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Sid's Little Corner of the Internet. We've got a DC Multiverse figure review for you. This time around, we're going to be taking a look at the DC Multiverse Lobo. So as we always do, let's go ahead and take a look at that packaging first. And right up there at the top, he has 22 moving parts. It's amazing. It's a McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse Lobo. Over here on the side, it's Lobo, DC Multiverse. On the back, you've got that product shot. Each figure comes with a collectible trading card. You've got that McFarlane Toys logo right up there. And down here, collect them all. Do it. You have to because it says so. And then you have all the McFarlane Toys information there. On this side, Lobo, DC Rebirth. And on the bottom, manufacturing information. And that is it for the packaging. So let's go ahead and see what came inside that box. Behold, laid out here before you is everything that came inside that box, and we're going to start over here on the right-hand side with his collector card. And yeah, that's a pretty cool product shot right there with the lightning in the back. I like it. He is Lobo from DC Rebirth, and on the back you do get a brief bio, and I will get my fingers out of the way and hold that still for a moment, so if you choose to pause to read that, you can do so. All right. And then moving on, as far as accessories are concerned, he really technically only comes with one, but we are going to show off his display stand because I do find that with these McFarlane figures, the display stands really make life a lot easier versus trying to stand these figures freely as I have him right now. So especially for dynamic poses, these really help. So just regular plastic, you do get the DC logo on there, and then you have that peg that goes in the bottom of his foot. So you do get that. And then Lobo does come with his hook and chain, and this is a soft, pliable rubber, but it looks pretty darn good, actually. And you can see you've got nice texturing, nice sculpt work in there. And thankfully it is a soft rubber, so it doesn't hurt. Unlike his shins, by the way, those things are sharp. And then there's the chain, and then this just slips over. It can go over his left hand or his right hand, either one. And so he can use that for some nice whacking action. All right, so that is it for everything that came inside that box. So let's go ahead and take a look at the details on Mr. Lobo himself. Here he is, the last of his kind, the Czarnian bounty hunter that can't figure out if he wants to be a villain or an anti-hero. But let's bring him in and take a look at those details. And we'll start as we always do with that head. And yeah, he is looking all kinds of insane clown posse juggalo. So looking good there, and hopefully it's coming through, but you can see those beady red eyes in there, and those teeth looking like he may need some dental work, maybe some veneers. And then he's got those blue streaks in his hair, nicely textured, coming down to that body. Vest is looking good, shirt's looking a little tattered. He may need to stop at Old Navy. And coming down here to that belt buckle. And down to the crotch area. All good detail there, good paint. And then he's got those skull kneecaps. And I will tell you now, these are sharp. These are not soft rubber. These are a hard rubber. And they are very pokey. So when you handle this guy, just be careful. Especially when you're posing these feet. You're wanting to move these feet around. Your thumb will run into these, and it's not fun. And there you go. He looks like he has steel-toed boots, so he is OSHA compliant if he needs to get some industrial work. And coming down here, there's the bottoms of his feet. You see the little ports right there for the peg on the display stand. And raising that arm up. Let's take a look at the side. Got that nice studded belt. And then that cut, that biker jacket vest. Going right underneath there. Good texturing underneath. He's got those big old hands with his biker gloves. And then taking a look at those arms. And on the back, this is really cool. Bite Me, Fanboy. I'm sure they wanted to be a little more obscene than that, but considering this is going to be ages 12 plus, Bite Me, Fanboy I think is a pretty good compromise. And back of his head. And coming down, he does have a couple of pockets, so it's always good. Good place to store your stuff. All right, So there you go. As far as details go, I think this guy is just knocking it out of the park. He looks awesome. Just really cool to see him in person here. So let's go ahead and talk about that articulation. He has 22 moving parts. So let's take a look here. So you do have the head. It's on a ball joint, and you can go left, right, up, down, whatever you want to do. A little bit of side to side if you want to give him that quizzical look right before he kills you, or if he wants to give you the quizzical look. And coming over here to the shoulder, you do have a bit of a butterfly ball joint, so you can make adjustments as you seem fit, or as you see fit right there. And lifting it up, it'll bring up that far, and you'll do full 360. And you do have bicep rotation. Let's do the elbow first. These joints are tight, so you get 90 degrees of elbow, and then you can do bicep rotation there. Again, very tight joint. And then down here at the wrist, you get wrist rotation. And let's lift those up out of the way. You do have a point of rotation right here for the chest, so you get a little bit of forward and back, and then a little bit of the side to side if you want to do something like that, so it can work as obliques. And then down here, you do have a little bit of waist rotation, but it's very tight on this figure. All right, down here at the hips, you can get him about that far apart before he starts making me nervous. So not quite a full Van Damme, but plenty of range of motion there. Kicking forward, you can kick forward that far. Kicking backward that far, but as you can see, it starts to work its way out. So technically, I guess you could just go all the way around if you choose to do so. And then you do have thigh rotation. And then at the knees, you do get double jointed knees. So you get a nice deep knee bend, so you can just put that skull, bam, right into somebody's face. And bringing those back down. Down here at the feet, again, being careful with these spikes because they will poke you. You can get the feet pointed down that far, pointed up that far, and you do get a limited amount of ankle tilt. Not a lot. I don't even know if it's there by design, but it's there. And then you do get ankle rotation. And then down here at the toes, you can push those toes up. All right, so that is details and articulation on Mr. Lobo, if I can get him to stand. This is where those stands are very helpful. I think we got him though. All right, so that is it for details and articulation. So let's get this guy accessorized up and we'll take a look at him there. And here we see Lobo all accessorized up on his stand, looking like he's getting ready to just really put the hurt on somebody. Hopefully it's not me or you, but he looks so good posed right here. And like I said earlier, as far as accessories go, there's not a lot. You have the hook and the chain, but it really works. Just as far as this figure and his history and the mythology of Lobo, all this works. He just looks really cool right here, and he has great shelf presence. So yeah, no doubt at all. Accessories maybe kind of weak, but you do get a cool one, and he looks great doing it. I would have loved to have seen the Space Hog included. I would have actually paid extra if we could have had a deluxe figure at a higher price point, if he would have come with his motorcycle. That really would have just set it off. But for the price point, for this, and for that accessory, I think it's more than fine, and he looks great on your shelf. So there you go. All right, let's go ahead and get into those comparisons. And for our first comparison, here we have the McFarlane Toys Lobo next to the McFarlane Toys Very Angry Superman that came in that Superman Devastator 2-pack with the Batman that got his hands on the Doomsday virus. So you can see how, from a scale standpoint, how Lobo stacks up to another McFarlane figure in Superman. For our next comparison, here we see the McFarlane Toys Lobo next to the Marvel Frogman. And you can see how those two stack up from a scale standpoint. For our next comparison, here we see the McFarlane Toys Lobo next to the Cyberpunk Johnny Silverhand. Next up is the Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. So you can see how Lobo stacks up next to a Black Series figure. Here we see the McFarlane Toys Lobo next to the NECA Real Toys Alpha Predator. And I gotta say, I would probably pay good money to see these two go at it. I think Lobo would probably pull it off just because he has that superhuman strength, healing factor, and resilience, and so on and so forth. But I'd like to think the Alpha Predator would put up one heck of a fight, and it would be really cool to see these two go at it. And for our final figure comparison, on the left you have the McFarlane Toys Lobo. On the right you have the Transformers War for Cybertron Leader Class Double Dealer. So you can see how those two guys stack up next to each other, and you know, they're just a couple of bounty hunters out looking for their next score, so don't trust them. That'll do it for comparisons, so let's go ahead and get into those final thoughts. Yeah, so let's go ahead and have a short conversation about the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Lobo. I like this figure. I think that he's pretty well done, and I think he's got a great shelf presence, and Lobo as a character anyway has always been a favorite of mine in the DC universe, and you know, to see him displayed on a shelf just looking all kinds of just like one bad mamba jamba, it just does it for me. So I very much enjoy this figure. Just talking real quick about the overall aesthetics of this guy. Like I just mentioned, I think everything here is on point. He looks good from every angle. I love the cut, his motorcycle jacket. I love the spikes on his legs, even though they can be really pointy and you have to be careful. Even that accessory, for what it is, I really enjoy it. The face sculpt, everything on this guy, he just looks great. Even that tattered shirt, it just fits him. This is Lobo through and through, so I really like it. As far as articulation goes, it is typical McFarlane Toys articulation. I would have liked to have seen, you know, legitimate ankle tilt in those feet. I think that would have gone a long way there. But everything else, for the most part, you can get good articulation out of this guy. He does have double jointed elbows and knees, which helps quite a bit to get him in some of those dynamic poses. But that ankle tilt would really have been nice. As far as the accessories go, like we mentioned, he only comes with the one. I personally would have paid more if he would have come with his Space Hawk. If that motorcycle would have come with him, and you could have had him on his bike, and you know, with his chain and hook and everything else, that just would have been phenomenal. Without a doubt, I would have paid the money to pick him up with that. But as he stands right now, putting him on a shelf next to the other figures with his chain and his hook, he still looks pretty darn good. Overall quality, I don't have any issues with this figure. The biggest thing I can say is just from a safety standpoint, be careful when you handle him, because those spikes on his shins are made out of a hard plastic, and for anybody who's younger, or if you're being careless, you're going to poke yourself and it could hurt. Overall value, I think this guy's got pretty good overall value. I found this figure at a local Walmart, and he was $21. So right on par with all the other figures that are out there for the McFarlane Toys. So really not that bad of a deal, especially for somebody like me who is a fan of Lobo. But yeah, guys, that's going to wrap up the review. I would say in short that if you collect the DC Multiverse figures, this is definitely one you're going to want to pick up. He looks spectacular next to all the other figures, and he's just got a great mythology himself. So with that, yeah, we're going to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you haven't already done so, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about this guy. I personally really enjoy him. I'd love to hear what other people think about Lobo. And with that, we're going to wrap it up. Until we see you guys in the next one, take care.